Everyone, this is a special meeting for the Board of County Commissioners with the University of Idaho. It's March 14th, 2023. The time is 1:33 p.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. In attendance are Commissioners Matari, Brooks, and Duncan. Are there any changes to the agenda? All right, hearing none, we'll go ahead with the fiscal year 24 University of Idaho Extension Office budget request with Rusty Gauze. Okay, and Northern Director and Shelley Johnson, our Eat Smart Idaho Administrator. All right, you can just go ahead and push that and go ahead and get started.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
I am new to the Northern District as well. I started in December, so I've invested the last several months really moving within the top 10 counties in Idaho, and I do office here at the Harbor Center in Coeur d'Alene. I've spent considerable time with the Kootenai office and kind of what they have going on. So just in short, recognize I'm humbled by the work that I get to come alongside in the Northern District, and particularly the Kootenai office and kind of what they're doing within the extension programs here. And so I guess I come looking forward to a continuing relationship with you all as I get that opportunity and would love to advocate for and speak on behalf of the programs that you know about, either don't know about, want to grow in, understand more. I guess I would also just highlight, as I looked in the book when I was on campus last week, that tomorrow actually signifies the 106th anniversary of the Kootenai Extension Program in combination of the county and U of I being in partnership with the Extension Outreach and educational efforts. So tomorrow we'll have a cake on all of our behalves. We won't be able to meet with you all. Too bad we couldn't have met tomorrow, but thank you for having us.
Yeah. And I've never totally had the chance to meet you guys. Mike Howell was filling in as our lead for our office, and I kind of took over after he retired just really about 3 or 4 months ago. So thank you for having us. We are out at the U of I Research Park, as you guys are aware. We've got a bustling office out there offering 5 main programs. I think you guys are perhaps most familiar with 4-H. I lead up the Family and Consumer Sciences component, and the Eat Smart Idaho that kind of goes along with my name is federal dollars that I receive to support lower income families in the area. Those are funds that usually land-grant universities receive through extension, and we've been the recipient of those for about 30 years. U of I Extension has been. But I do a number of other family and consumer sciences programs in the area, from physical activity to just nutrition education in general. I think you guys are a little bit familiar with Chris Schneff as well. He's our forester out of the office. He's been there longer than I've been. I guess I've been there for 22, 23 years now. I'm not that old. So he's a little bit older than me, and has been there ever since I've been at the office. So forestry is a busy program as well. He is a area educator, and so he travels to the other 4 northern counties up here as well, and does receive a little bit of funding for them as well, or from those counties as well, to support his program area. But the majority of what he does is here in Kootenai, just because of library education and things like that. We also have our Master Gardener program as well. That's busy, led by Cara Carlton. She's one of the coordinators that is under the funding of the county, which is helpful for the ongoing of that program. Did I forget anything?
Well, the 5th
yes.
is water, really emphasis of water, which this area is a water-rich area, of course. And so Jim Eakins, Dr. Jim Eakins, who's actually officed in the Harbor Center, is also an area water specialist, but just by location, there's a tremendous amount of work that he has done with Kootenai County, and the obvious, from water abundance to tourism to water quality issues to working with developers as they react to water runoff and how that affects our water quality and water appearance that we all cherish. So to advocate for them, I think that, for example, Eat Smart, I get a lot of questions about what is Eat Smart. And different than what I think a lot of people assume is, oh, that must be like food stamps or food provision. And it's really not. It's far more, in particular working with underprivileged communities, education. And the mission of extension really is, in the Smith-Cleaver Act that was passed in 1914, 3 years before Kootenai County and U of I went into partnership in that extension outreach understanding, is taking that scientifically based, researched public information to the citizens of the state. And so it's really an educational outreach, and Shelley does a phenomenal job of really in those schools doing nutrition education. And we need like 10 Shelleys. We need 10 Chris's, as forestry obviously is an incredible impacting area. And we think about forestry, whether forestry is harvesting trees, and that's what we kind of see, but the increasing number of private forest owners, his education efforts are largely in education to those private landowners, not only in how they manage those forested areas, but also their impact on, if harvested or if managed, effects on things like water quality, depending on how they manage those areas and harvesting those areas, what effect does that have downstream? And so Chris's large effort is management of and education of those forest owners. And 4-H is obviously most people understand what 4-H is, but I think a lot of people really see 4-H as the county fair and that traditional livestock or project work. And Teresa Valderrama is probably one of the nation's current STEM icons in taking science and technology and expanding, or I should say exploding, that effort and educational effort in science technology within the 4-H program here in Kootenai County, which in all the 10 counties I really spend most of my time with, this is a very unique situation just by the explosion of and expansion of the communities here. And so I'm super proud of the Kootenai crew as they're just responding to the explosion of population and how we're meeting the needs of those varying differences of people that are here. So what questions would you have of us, or would we be able to
Are you presenting a flat budget?
In that whole process, we'll have our agreement again with you guys that we'll put forth. That's sort of that ongoing piece, as well as the budget that we will be looking at. We are currently under the $156,000. Like $519 or something like that. We'll put that forth again this coming year. And then on top of that, we've got that 2-year lease agreement, but that was signed last summer, so I think that'll expire in '24. So, yeah. So we also wanted to make sure to invite you guys out to our office at some point. I know having all of you out at the same time, we probably can't do.
Right.
But we'd invite, and especially Commissioner Matari, you are our main contact, to have you out to the office to see some of our program work, and then just us out in the field as well, doing whatever that may be, direct education with Chris on location, something like that would be fun, and joining me as well. So extend that invite. But for me, this is sort of the first time going through this process with you guys, with the budget and everything. So I'm learning as we go. So please let me know, this process as we build on it and things, and the timing of everything is certainly important, that I'm meeting your guys' deadlines and things like
Sure.
that.
Yeah. Our leadership together in partnering with you, we appreciate the candid. I think we can take candid feedback too. And so in my role, I would just say, as I look at the 10 counties that I get to work with and those commissioners in each of the 10 counties, what we do see, depending on each county situation, with increasing costs, it just costs more to function and do the programs that we're doing. So on average, I would say that most counties have somewhere from a 3 to 5% increase in operating budget costs to keep up with the staffing needs and the program needs that we have. So, but new to this process, I wasn't even sure if that's something we were asking for today or if we're really just establishing kind of a working relationship together and understanding of who we are. But
Sure. What would be helpful for me, because I've been here 4 years, would be to see the overall budget of the program and then to see where that 156,000 from Kootenai County, where that's allocated.
Okay.
And
Great.
typically we do get that line item breakout, but not in context with the rest of the funding that
Okay.
you receive. So
Yeah.
I think that you have fees for some programs or low fees.
Yeah,
Have you
some fees.
considered raising those at all?
I in particular, I've talked with Teresa about, there's a number of different audiences she really works with that I think would be very willing to pay a fee.
Okay.
If some of the homeschool communities, for example, a homeschool co-op would have an expected fee to go along with it. Right now, she's been offering those programs in development phase really as outreach.
Right.
So yes, I think there's some room for us to grow in that area as well.
Okay, that would help alleviate some of the property tax burden, I think. That would be, something I'd be interested in seeing. So if you could, get that to us in the next probably, 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
That would be great.
Okay.
So I'd like to see that. So, Bill, questions, thoughts?
What would happen if we cut our contribution in half?
It would hurt us greatly, as anyone else would too, right?
How?
So I think our operating costs that are allocated from the county really that's probably a very baseline operating, and then Shelley, Teresa, Chris are working extremely hard getting grant dollars with that to make programs survive. So I think that administrative staff also that we have that we're now currently hiring, which we just announced today, some of that administrative staff to keep things above water. We've been below water and now we're just getting healthy again. But as grant dollars work, most of those grant dollars are for the application of whatever topic you're pursuing. They're not necessarily heavily funding the operating costs of the county effort. That really does come from you all.
I'm not suggesting that.
Right.
I'm just,
Yeah,
One-
I think
one of-
when, like even looking at last year's budget, probably about 130,000 was tied up into salaries. So like our administrative secretary lead, we had a full-time person and then a part-time person to help just manage, not only all of our Quicken books, but University of Idaho software that we're running everything through our banner system and Office of Sponsored Programs and all of those types of things. So the majority of the funds is going towards personnel.
what would it do to 4-H?
So 4-H, we've got a part-time, or actually a full-time coordinator that helps manage the 4-H program. Half of that is coming from the Kootenai budget and half of it's covered through U of I. The Kootenai County 4-H program is it is the largest one in the state of Idaho. And if we did, have to look at that, it would hugely cut the 4-H program.
How many kids are in 4-H?
Statewide, it's something like
No.
60,000.
Kootenai County.
In Kootenai County. I think there's over just 700 kiddos, and that's not counting the kids that are in the school type of program, and then within that is being managed out of our office that Rusty had mentioned, some of the homeschool kiddos that are in. That's over almost pushing 300 now.
So roughly 1,000 kids within
Yeah.
the community that are in
Yeah.
intensive involvement. It's not just once a month kind of programming, but regularly programmed activity.
Right.
I only see them at the fair.
Right. Yeah, and they're much more than what's at the fair. That's for sure.
And I come from a
Yeah.
traditional 4-H background, and so my first time to tour the teaching lab that Teresa is managing, I was frankly blown away. And I don't think many people could walk through there and leave without recognizing that there's something significant going on here that is a Kootenai program. It's admirable for sure. If you want it, one of the things that we've talked about putting together with your time that is there's a lot of other people channeling for your time, trying to put together a one-page just graphic that would show or detail more in kind of a business view of a return on investment. For that budget dollar, what does the impact look like?
Right.
In not text form, but more in a graph form to say, and that, you're limited in a one-page graphic, but just for an idea of footprint and impact.
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'd like to put that together
Yeah.
I don't know when we meet again, but we'll get that to you with our budget also.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Bruce?
I don't really have a question as much as more just a comment, but like Commissioner Duncan and Brooks, I would like to see, like a return on investment and some detail behind it and how the program fits into the larger picture. And it's largely because you're asking for money that we have to ask the homeowner for. And it's only fair that you really make that case, in essence, as to how that money is going to benefit the community. And that the homeowners get that return on investment. So, and I would definitely like to see the facility as well.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
So we
The
can.
fact that you're even we love that. We love to be able to tell our story. So the
Yeah.
fact that you're open and asking is what we want. So thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anything further?
We'll go to work.
Yes.
All
for sure.
right. Well, I will go ahead and call for public comment. I think we have, whatever you want to do. You can do the table.
It's weird to address you sitting down, so.
Should I turn my?
A green light to work?
Green light.
Thank you, Commissioners, for the opportunity to address you today about budgetary issues. I've come today to make it very clear that the majority of the residents in Kootenai County do not want to fund any program that is affiliated, managed, or directed by the University of Idaho. Make no mistake, the University of Idaho is flush with cash and resources. Their foundation is the largest foundation in the state of Idaho. The total assets that they have are $460 million. That is in fiscal year of 2021. I'm sure it has increased by now. That was a $100 million increase in 1 year over their previous fiscal year. The problem isn't that U of I lacks the ability to fund what I thought we were talking about, Eat Smart Idaho, which was on the agenda, but apparently we're going to throw in some other community-loved things like 4-H, so let's throw that one in there too, and forestry. But they choose to prioritize their woke agendas over funding Eat Smart Idaho and 4-H. Instead of cleaning up the cultural and fiscal insanity on their campuses, they come here expecting money to be taken from the county budget to supplement their anti-family, pro-status, alphabet mafia propaganda. In addition to the $460 million of holdings from their foundation, the Idaho state taxpayers were forced to give U of I $169 million in the last fiscal year. The $169 million expenditure by Idaho taxpayers gives U of I carte blanche to promote the insanity of courses like Famed 550, Critical Race Theory and Medicine, with a description that includes bettering medicine through critical race theory lens. Their second-year medical students are also indoctrinated via their foundation's program called Life Cycle in the therapeutic management of trans-masculine individuals, which is female to male, who require androgen therapy. For the innocents in the room, this is a hormone therapy that destroys the female body as it attempts to remake her into a man, which is a complete lie. These doctors may help a woman grow a better mustache than us natural women could on our own, but they will never succeed in altering the cells of the body to completely destroy what God created. This form of healthcare is nothing short of a Nazi-style Mengele, is that how you say his name? That the butcher that performed all of those horrible things on human beings. And it is our tax dollars that pay for the next generation of doctors to become these butchers. Medical students at U of I also use taxpayer funds to be indoctrinated in how to perform abortions, which is a violation of current state law. Also part of the $169 million paid to U of I was a $150,000 salary for a chief diversity officer. The president of U of I pulled in a cool $420,000 plus benefits. This salary is 646% higher than the median income of Kootenai County households. Tell me again how property owners and businesses of Kootenai County should get even 1 cent to an entity that is already drunk at the public trough while undermining everything we know to be right: faith, family, and absolute truth. Giving the University of Idaho any money supports unbridled wokeism and tells our community that they are expected to accept leftist ideology and be quiet about it. Kootenai County property owners are sick and tired of being taxed to fund entities that do not serve the community at large or uphold our family first values, and we take great offense at being forced to fund woke, anti-human entities like the University of Idaho. Not to mention, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare and the USDA already give U of I funds for their Eat Smart program. I'm sure they also give funds to the 4-H. I didn't look into that because the agenda only said Eat Smart Idaho. Enough is enough. These programs and entities have no right to dip into every single layer of taxpayer dollars. They already have federal and state, and now they want county. If the richest foundation in Idaho finds the Eat Smart and 4-H programs at U of I to be of value, they can restructure their own budget to pay for it. They certainly have the resources to do so. On a side note, should you need further reason to not give U of I any taxpayer dollars, I see on the agenda for this Thursday that 2 of our county offices, the sheriff and the coroner, will be asking you to allocate more resources to their departments. These services provide the county offices that give us all safety, security, and justice. And that is the proper role of government and where our money should be allocated. Thank you.
For the record, your name?
Charity. Thank you, Bill.
Charity what?
Miser.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other
Oh, I got her.
public
I know
comments? All right, 1:55, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.